How do I meet somebody? I can't find somebody. Well, this is what you got to do. Loneliness. Friends, Bryan here, and we are going to talk today about a question I've been asked a lot about since my video about avoiding people. Loneliness and being middle-aged. What do I think of loneliness? Friends, we are living in a crazy world and a crazy time. I think for a lot of us, when I made my video about avoiding people, I think we can all agree in the comments is that a lot of us who are middle-aged, especially those of us who've had a good heart and we've been good to people, we're tired of other people's and we want our personal peace. This thing about loneliness, we feel that in life, to be happy, we have to get married, we have to have kids, we got to have the house, we got to have the big job. A relationship is a transaction of taking on someone else's problems. And I've had relationships with some people who are very good at making their problems your problems. When we're given a perceived hard lesson in life, or we're given a perceived hardship, look for the lesson in it. Look for the good in it. And I'm going to tell you guys about me, and I'm going to ask you a question. Look back in your life. Anyone who's ever told you that they loved you or cared about you, how many people were really telling the truth? I'm a lot of things. I'm not perfect, but I can look back at my relationships in life and my poor decisions for getting in them and know that it wasn't true. There was always an act in the beginning to get more commitment from me, and then the big change, or there's hidden agendas. But I'm not playing victim. I've accepted my bad choices and I've moved on. It's a transaction. When you get into a relationship, even some friendships, sometimes you're taking on their problems and their BS. I knew a woman once. She was attractive, she was nice, she was well liked, she had a good job, and she was with a man who treated her terribly. She probably could have had her pick of some of the best men out there, but she stayed with this guy for two reasons. Number one, she felt sorry for him and didn't want to hurt his feelings and be perceived to have abandoned him. He had a lot of problems. The second one, she was afraid of being alone. Now, I can't say that I've experienced the afraid of being alone. I have had the misfortune of getting into some relationships going, oh God, what have I gotten myself into? And how do I get myself out? 2.5 years leading into the pandemic, I was in a horrible relationship I never should have been in. I was with someone who had a very bad personality disorder. I quickly realized this was not going to be a relationship. It was a caretakership. And it was awful. It was hell on earth. And this person was an expert at making their problems your problems. It was a very, very difficult relationship to get out of. But when I did, and I was free, I loved it. Every day I would wake up and go, you know, today you can do whatever the hell you want. You don't have to worry about upsetting somebody, causing a fight, getting their permission, having to have them go with you when you just want some time alone. It was a wonderful thing. It's one of the greatest times of my life. I loved it. I would go where I wanted. I'd hang out with whoever I wanted. I'd travel to wherever I wanted. I did whatever I wanted. And after years of not being able to do that and having to give up anything that was important to me, it was a great thing. I embraced the loneliness. I loved the loneliness. I got comfortable with myself. When people are afraid to be alone, maybe the problem is they're just not comfortable with themselves yet. When you are alone, put that energy into you. For guys, a lot of guys, I tell them, level up, man. Work on yourself. Lose some weight. Get in better shape. Work on your health. For a lot of men, they've complained to me about, oh, you know, how do I meet somebody? I can't find somebody. Well, this is what you got to do. And this is a hard one, folks, but I did it. Maybe you want to do it. Go have a shower. Now, get out of the shower. Of course, use caution. Watch your step. Don't slip or anything. Whether you wish to dry off or not, that's up to you. I will leave that in your capable hands. But stand in front of the mirror, naked, for 5 or 10 minutes and really take a good hard look at yourself and say, hey, why would someone want to be with me? Among other things. Why would they want to do other things with me? What is it that I have to offer that person? Bottom line, am I a nice, kind person? A lot of people aren't. They pretend to be in the beginning, but they're not. What do you have to offer somebody? Do you have a lot of debt that you're going to be pulling that person into? I know what that's like. Do you have a lot of personal issues? Are you not really looking for a relationship? You're just looking for a caretaker. You're just looking for someone to actually just run around and take care of you. I know what that's like too. Have I worked on myself? I had a friend one time. He was a nice enough guy. He was a little older. He looked great for his age. He took care of himself. But he was in this vicious cycle of, he was with a woman who had borderline personality disorder. They'd stay together a few weeks. There'd be a big blowout. And then he would come to me and say, well, how am I going to meet somebody? I'd give him some suggestions, but he had a problem for every solution I gave him. Shut every idea down. And then he'd get back with that woman. And then a few weeks later, I get a message from, it'd always be, no, I think we've rounded a corner. Things are going to be different. I'm like, dude, I've been there. It's not going to change. And then a few weeks later, well, we broke up. How do I meet somebody? I don't know, dude. You got to work on yourself and figure it out. I think sometimes when people are alone, they don't look at the good side in it. We all know in today's day and age, there's a lot of predators out there. There's a lot of people stealing money, taking advantage of people on dating apps. You meet someone, they'll tell you, they find out about you, they tell you what you want to hear. And next thing you know, they're trying to take your house. They've moved in with you, their name's on the mortgage, and they're trying to take your house. A lot of bad people out there, folks. A lot of bad people. But being alone, embrace being alone. Take that time to yourself. Learn about yourself. Put effort into you. As I said, start working out. Eat better. Go for nice hikes at different spots. Learn an instrument. I did a video about that some time ago. It's great when you're over 50. Because you're putting that energy back in yourself. You're not letting someone, again, suck the energy out of you. It's amazing. Travel. Go where you want to go. You don't have to run it by anybody. Eat where you want to eat. You don't have to get their permission. Hang out with whoever you want to hang out with. These are the weirdest frickin' tracks I have ever seen. What the hell is that? That looks like it's a goddamn ostrich or something. What the hell is that? Now I feel like I'm kind of in a Jurassic Park movie. I'm not saying that you can't meet the right person and be happy together. And one of the great things when you're in middle age, you can learn from all your mistakes from the past and say, I'm never doing that again. I myself, when I was single, after so much time, when I had that special time to myself a few years back, when I was ready to casually date, and that was a big thing. And ladies, I got to tell you, I've heard a lot from women who'd say, well, men are only after one thing. I've heard it. I get it. There's a lot of bad men out there. But women, I'd go on very casual dates and be right up front and say, look, I'm not looking for anything. I definitely wasn't interested in having sex with strangers. That was never my thing. It's nice just to go out and talk and get to know somebody without all this crazy pressure. But you'd say, hey, I'm not in a rush for anything. Kind of got out of a bad relationship. I just want to casually date people. You go out for a green tea or maybe lunch, and then before you know it, you're getting like these messages saying, man, you're a great guy. Is there any chance we could have something more than this? It's like, holy geez. Women, you guys, you like to see what you want to see, not what's actually right in front of you. Sorry, ladies. I know there's a lot of bad guys out there, but man, that drove me nuts. So after a while, I just got tired of it. I'm like, man, it's always the same thing. There's always pressure and bullshit going on. But my story has a very good ending. And I met somebody, and I told her right off the bat, I said, hey, I'm not in a rush for anything. Can we just kind of learn how to be friends first and go from there? And she was great. Man, it was something. It was just some of the best times of my life. She passed every test, and she was just so different from the women I've experienced in the past. There was never pressure. There was never any BS. It was just, hey, yeah, let's just hang out and go with it. More on that in a future video. But guys, this thing about loneliness, and as I said in my video where I avoid people, I would rather enjoy life on my own terms by myself than live a life of having to be a caretaker and putting up with someone else's BS and taking on someone else's problems. I've been there. I've done that. I'm not interested. My life, I don't know how much longer I have left. I'm comfortable with who I am. I'm comfortable with myself. I've accepted responsibility for all my bad decisions, and I'm not that naive guy anymore. And when I started dating again, I had my standards. I'll never do this, and this. And I lucked out. I was very fortunate to meet the woman that I'm with now. But loneliness, folks, loneliness. Enjoy your time alone. Because you know what? How many people can you name that are happily married? Now name people that were unhappily married. Think about it. Loneliness. That might be a gift for you folks, because you get wound up with the wrong person. It's not good. If you really want to meet that person, level yourself up. Work on yourself. Have your standards and say, hey, I'm not making these mistakes in the past. But you know what? Get to know yourself. When you have loneliness, take that time. Look into yourself. Understand yourself. Look back at your past. Why did I make these decisions? Why did I do that? Grow from it. Learn from it. Loneliness can be a wonderful thing. I think back to that time. It was a wonderful time in my life, and I really valued it, and I grew from it, and I made a very wise choice out of it. Remember, guys, also take care of your health, because if you don't, no one else will. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. How do you deal with loneliness? What do you think of what I said? This is Bryan signing off.